Hey guys, it's Matt Hogan, Element Real Estate, and my son just, what do? You stub your toe?
My knee. Just
Okay.
clipped it on a table.
All right, so
I feel good.
it's that time of the month. Instead of doing a monthly market update, we're going to do an annual market update for housing on the coast side. Do you have any role, or you're just going to stand there and be funny?
Just stand here and chill.
Okay, I got the looks. You can see in this family, he got the hair.
Yeah.
So your role is concluded. For those of you who want to know how more housing prices did in 2019, sit back, check it out. We're going to learn everything you want to know and more. Thanks. All right, check it out. So we're going to look at how we did in real estate prices in 2019. I'm going to start with the bottom line for those of you who don't want the details, you want the cliff notes, you want somebody to chew your food for you. We're going to jump right into it. Here's where we're at on the bottom line. So definitively, full stop, market got a little bit cooler in 2019. Not a ton, but a little bit. Inarguable. I would say 2018 was probably maybe the hottest, if not the second hottest year in this run that we had. 2019 was a little bit cooler. That is the bottom line. Don't let anybody tell you differently. For those of you who want to know why and want to see how, continue to watch. We'll dive into it. Okay, so we're going to summarize things. We're going to look at median sales price on the coast side. That actually went down by a little bit. We'll get into the specifics later. Days on market. This is how long does it take for a house to sell once it listed. It took longer in 2019 than it did in 2018. Sales price to list price ratio. Were people getting more or less for their home relative to the list price? Well, they got less. A little bit, but they got less in 2019. Months of inventory is how fast are homes selling relative to the amount of homes that are on the market. And homes sold a little slower. That metric got a little bit worse, a little cooler. Price reduction factor is, are people reducing their prices on their home more or less? Well, they reduced them a little bit more. And one pretty strong indicator of the housing market, if not an indicator, certainly an influencer, is mortgage rates. Mortgage rates went way down. So that market got pretty hot. Money got and still is pretty cheap to borrow. So let's take it a level deeper. We'll look into some of the specifics of Coastside. I'm also going to compare it to, for reference, Pacifica, our friends up north, and San Mateo County as a whole. So the first thing is median sales price. Yeah, you can see a drop. Small drop, 1.58%. But the first year in a while that we've had a drop in median home sales price on the coast. Pacifica, for comparison, you can see, although still less than the coast side substantially, was flat, no change. In San Mateo County, you can't see the numbers obscured by my handsome face here on the right, but essentially San Mateo County dropped just under 1%. So flattening and dropping a little bit. Again, this is the first year that we've seen this in the long run, maybe the start of a flattening trend. If you have an opinion on that, you can feel free to comment in the notes. Days on market. This is an interesting one. So this is our homes selling faster once they've listed or slower. You can see on the coast side, it's a big increase. 22 days to sell a home in a big enough time frame. If you look back 10 years, that's still really fast. But compared to how it was in 2018, almost 50% longer. It took 50% longer for, 15 days versus 22 days to sell a house on the coast. Pacifica, San Mateo County, no change there. Still selling really, really fast all the way through the end of the year, 13 days on average. Median sales price, we looked at that one. Sales price to list price ratio. Sellers got a little bit less for their house relative to list price on the coast, down to 96.8% last year. Also down in Pacifica and San Mateo County as a whole, but you can see in those markets, homes still sold much higher than list price, sorry. Keep in mind, though, these metrics can be influenced by the market, and they are, but they also can be influenced by the price strategy of the agents and the sellers in a particular market. If the strategy in general is to price homes lower, then yeah, they're going to sell faster and they're going to sell for more relative to what they listed for, and you're going to have less price reductions. But nonetheless, it is an indicator of a market cooling just a little bit, and you can see it clearly in the data. Price reduction factor. More price reductions, a little bit more price reductions this last year than there was in 2018. That's typical because sellers might hold on to the values that they had the previous year and be stubborn, only later to find that they need to reduce the price because they sort of overshot the value of their home. Pacifica price reduction factor was less, so less price reductions, and more, pretty much about the same, maybe a little bit less in San Mateo County. Months of inventory, one of the last metrics we're going to look at is how fast is inventory selling relative to the amount of inventory. Just to kind of break this down for you, if you have 40 homes on the market and there was 20 sales in that month, that would be 2 months of inventory. That means it would take 2 months at selling 20 homes per month to sell out the overall market of 40 homes. The lower the metric, the hotter the market is. Homes are flying off the shelf. The higher the metric, the cooler it is. You can see that we had a slight increase on the Coastside, which means slightly cooler. Pacifica was relatively flat, almost no change there, and a big increase in San Mateo County. Homes turned over a lot slower in 2019 than they did in 2018. Interest rates, pretty interesting. We had seen some peaks about a year ago, almost up to 5%, and then we had a gradual drop throughout 2019. Interest rates are almost as low as they've been ever. Money's really cheap, and it's expected, or at least most people expect interest rates to stay low in 2020. And actually, quite a few people expect them to drop even more, if you can believe that. So that's the wrap up. If you have any questions, you want me to do any other analysis, send me a direct message, comment in the notes, and we'll see you in a few weeks for the January wrap up. Thanks a lot. See ya. See ya.